Hello everyone, this is Shadow Dragon with another video from the test server. Now this isn't a live recording. What you're seeing in the background is going to be two separate runs of Seeing Shades Again, the Amazon Fury 3 solo. I've been doing the Amazon Fury 3 stuff on any free night that I can, that I had. Basically just to get a feel for what I think my final build is going to be for my main character. So it's just to kind of get used to it, but also I wanted to make sure that the changes they make all the time to the test server are not affecting it. So these two runs, the first one is a clip from July 5th. And the one following is the same exact thing, but from July 14th, which has the recent changes from last Friday. So that pass did like a change on all the numbers. What they did was they also increased some of the support roles, like the heals are more effective, and the power back from the controllers are also more effective, so that they're kind of spamming their powers a bit less. There was nothing specific to fire, at least to the powers that I'm using. So the runs did end up exactly, or pretty close to identical, and that's exactly what I was going for. I just wanted to make sure they didn't miss anything or break anything. But I didn't want to spend too much time on the video. It's just kind of there for the background, and they are labeled, and I'll make sure I put the chapters in the description if you're interested in comparing the videos. But I didn't find anything significant, which is a good thing. But one of the things I want to touch on that's not really related to the video you see playing in the background, it's sort of just stock footage. But I never really touched on the subject of like alcoholics and how the revamp affects us. If you play a single character or just a handful, like maybe 2 to 3, the revamp probably won't affect you as much. But one of the good things about the build that's live and advanced mechanics, and this totally gets outweighed by the bad things, but when I think back to like all the changes through all the years, I probably played a lot less characters before AMs, and the thing is, like, advanced mechanics gave like an easy mode to every power, and it was also powerful. The easy mode was actually the way to go. So like all you had to do to learn a power was just read the descriptions and pick the right 4 to 6 loadouts, and there you had your DPS power already. So as a result of that, I ended up, probably partly as a result of that, I ended up making like a lot more characters. Like it was over time. Like gradually I would add one and then get curious about another power and then add another. So yeah, one of the good things about advanced mechanics was it just promoted character creation, and I just don't know how I would handle that, like when this revamp goes live. If you look at like all of my revamp videos, and I recently just put them in, I started organizing all my videos into playlists, so all the revamp ones are in their own playlist for convenience.
Felix Faust. Should have known that bottom dweller would.
But obviously I didn't get to test every power because of limited time, and I just tested like the ones that I was most familiar with. Whenever they shot out, like whenever they added like 3 of them, I would just pick one. I never even got to like a second one. I just picked the one I was most familiar with. So that ended up being like, it was Ice, Rage, Celestial, Sorcery, and Fire. So just based on that, I'm not sure how I'm gonna handle like all of my characters when this goes live, because I haven't even tested the others. And even with the ones I tested, I didn't feel totally comfortable with everything. I would say I'm ready to go with Fire, Ice, and Sorcery. The others need a lot of adjusting and a lot of testing out loadouts. But like because of that, like it even crossed my mind that I should be dropping my subscription, because I currently have my main account has 18 slots, so that means I purchased 2. If I dropped sub, I would have 8 slots left, and that would probably be pretty easy to pick which 8 characters. So it's definitely something I have to think about. It's probably a low chance because the character slots is not the most valuable thing about the subscription. Like to me, it's definitely the storage spaces and the escrow. Those would be an incredible pain if I didn't have those. But I definitely would be playing less characters than I am now. And it's not only just getting used to the way the revamp is set up, but the flow of combat is slower. Like if you're doing things that take skill, like the counter mechanics, and obviously you're going to be dodging more because we're not like married to getting the AM out, which gave us like a big bonus. So it's going to be more dynamic combat, but it's going to be slower. So everything's going to take longer, which means I'll be able to play less characters through their dailies. So it does hurt in that sense. And this is definitely, it's a significant user profile that will get affected, because I know a lot of altaholics in my league especially. Just people like creating characters, so I think it's definitely a big user profile.
Shut up and fight.
So it's definitely something to think about, and I would like to hear some feedback from viewers. If you're an altaholic, think about how many characters you played before AMs came out, and how many do you play now?
I am
and were a lot of them created
born of the lost Amazon
as the
tribe, the
AMs
Bana
were
Migdal.
released.
I was a warrior without a home until this
Okay,
woman
the
gave
other
me
major
purpose.
thing
To protect her
about
from those
the
who
Friday
wish to
update
pry ancient
was
knowledge
that
from her frail body.
the revamp
her,
was
I
finally
shall.
assigned a game update number. So that means it's actually coming out. And if I had to take a guess, it would be whenever they take down the summer event.
I
so
shall
that
wipe
would
that
be
smirk
July
from
26th.
your lips.
Unless they find
Feel
like
the
some
fury
giant
of
bug or
my
something.
blade.
I would kind of expect it on July 26th. It's kind of a good period to launch because they have that August window. The next content release is September, and there's
I'll
no
show
event
you the strength
between
of a Shimtar.
summer coming down and that new event going
It will
up.
take more than
So
that to hurt
if for
me.
some reason the revamp missed July 26th,
You think
they
that
still
will
have that
stop
flexibility of August in there
That
to
hurt.
schedule
Prepare for
something else.
vengeance.
So
You
in that
think
sense,
that will stop
it's
me?
kind of good timing. We've been
I shall
testing
wipe
for
that smirk from your
almost
lips.
a year now. It's been a long time. Like I'd have to look back at my first video and see what the date
I was
on that
born
was.
for battle.
Like it's so long ago, I don't even remember what I tested. Because back when we started this, I think we were testing leveling. So that's
I will
like
be
how far back it
victorious.
But yeah, anyway, when that news came up, I just went ahead and posted a poll on my Twitter
It will
account.
take more
'cause
than that to hurt me.
I guess I need to know from my followers
That hurt. Prepare
how
for
they
vengeance.
feel about this, and I kind of need that pull for reassurance for myself. Because if you watch my videos, for the most part, I'm kind of getting used to this, and like I can definitely adjust to this. There's no problem with the revamp.
Well
for
fought,
me.
outsider.
My
I hope
concern
your
is
skills will be enough to help
what's
you
the
gain
majority
what
going to
you
do,
seek.
because that
But I say this: beware
that's going
of
to
meddling
obviously
in the
affect
affairs of
the life of
gods.
the game.
Nothing is what it seems.
So I really want this to be successful.
You have battled mightily, brave
Now,
seeker. I have the
in a Twitter
knowledge you
survey,
crave,
we're
but I
allowed
am
4
afraid it
options.
will
So
do
what
no
I did
good.
was, one of them was,
has taken Hippolyta
it goes
to
like this:
Olympus.
when the
If
Stats
you wish
Revamp
to
goes
rescue
live, I
her,
plan
you
to
must travel to the
option
land
1,
of the gods.
return to the game.
They are protective
Option
of their
2,
home.
stop playing.
But there is a way.
Option 3,
A series
evaluate
of
and
impossible
decide
tasks
at renewal.
that keep mere
And option
mortals
4,
from
stay
entering
subbed and
Olympus.
renew.
If you succeed,
So I think that kind of
at
covers
proving the crew
everybody.
nothing is
Definitely have to
impossible,
start with return to the game,
then
because a lot of
you shall
people
be worthy to walk
left the
amongst them.
game, but not
However,
permanently. They
Do
left
not
it,
expect a warm welcome.
but are on
Many
hold.
have
And
come
I
before
know a lot of people in the
and
league
all.
are in that boat, and a lot of people from the community are on that boat. Currently, the survey is 2.5 days old, because I put that up late Friday, and it is now late Monday, so it's 3 days old. So I'm not going to dig into it that deeply yet, but I'll just tell you where it's at right now. 29% are going to return to the game at the revamp. Now, a lot of these people haven't been following the details of what's been on the test server. They're just unhappy with the AMs and the imbalance, and they probably think that the revamp is like just removal of that and returning back to the classic game. So I think that they're picking that choice to kind of evaluate it when the revamp goes up. So while that's a large percentage coming back at 29, the retention is the unknown factor there, because we don't know if they're going to stay, and I can't really put a guess on that, just because the revamp is its own thing. It's not the classic game, and it's not the AM world, so that's probably going to be a hit or miss on that 29% coming back. The 12% that say they're going to stop playing, that's also hard to tell. Like, if they're doing it based on the fact that it's a big change alone, or if they've been looking at the videos of the revamp and been testing it themselves and just don't like it. So in that sense, 12% is probably expected. It's not that high, which is good. The third choice is to evaluate once it goes up. So I actually thought this number was higher. This is currently 18%. Anyone without access to the test server, I imagine, would be in this boat. Or they've been viewing videos and decide not to play. But I would think they would at least give it a chance, you know. This is where I am, evaluate and decide. Like, I'm not going to quit right away. By the time this goes up, it's probably going to be August, and my renewal cycle is January. It's January 1st or 2nd, but it's beginning of January. So I have 4 months to evaluate this, and it's going to be a long-term evaluation. Obviously, I'm going to be starting out with probably just playing 2 characters, my main hero and my main villain, fire, sorcery. And then I'll start adding in my alts as I hopefully get used to it and get my dailies time down. So that is a long-term plan. So that means by January, it isn't a 100% chance that I'll still be playing the game. I'm thinking that it's likely I'll still be in it, but it's definitely not 100% because I'm going to see how it goes for 3 months. And that's the real test for me. I can't tell on the test server. Like, no matter how much I play on the test server, it's just not the same as live. I need to look at the daily interaction. Obviously more group content, because on the test server I've been doing like all solos. Just trying to get used to the powers themselves and convince myself to continue to evaluate once it goes live. The last choice is stay subbed and renew, and that right now that is the largest percentage in the voting. It's at 41%, and while that sounds optimistic, to make me feel better about the revamp, I think that number needs to be 80, where people would just blindly stay subbed and renew, because that's the way it was with a lot of the major changes in the past. Like I would say, like the graphics update, there were things like the dovetails changed, the weapons pass. I'm not going to say AMs because that was a gradual, but there were some pretty big changes, none the size of this. But in the past, I would say in my head, I was never 41%. Like I was always 100%. So that's where the 41 worries me in my circle of followers. But I'll dig into that a little bit more when I get the final results. 3 days in will probably give an idea of the percentage. Like it'll probably be close to what it is now, but I'll just wait till the final, and I'll do a follow-up video if there's a significant change. But there should be no more major changes to the revamp. So I'll just be doing some random testing of a few things. And maybe I'll start going into more powers. I have been playing Fire and Sorcery like pretty often. I just didn't record and upload everything because it would just be boring. Like I'm basically doing the same thing every day. Just trying to get used to my characters. So from here on in, I think my test server footage is probably going to be shorter than this, hopefully, because this is probably like 20 minutes or so, like two runs of shades on the revamp. I'm probably going to be testing random things as I think about my current daily and weekly routines as far as solos. I might be able to do some group content because I know some League members have gotten onto test. It's just a matter of being here the same time they are, which is kind of tough because there's still a lot to do on live. So yeah, I think I'll be doing some random things. I probably won't be going above Amazon Fury 3 though, just because I kind of want to play the characters as I left them. And there's also the familiarity with the content, because Age of Justice is still pretty new. And I definitely want to go back and test some older content, and I think I left some of my test characters at the lower content, because I just want to make sure those don't break. The other thing I didn't dive back into since testing the first character was multiplayer content at a higher tier, and seeing how large content scales as we get higher up, because that was a recent concern in the forums as well, because like some of us still go back to grab like styles, base items, feats, that kind of thing, and it's just more convenient when we can solo multiplayer content, and that always changes when the numbers change, because when CR differential went up, like that kind of changed erratically. It didn't follow like a set pattern. Like some tiers got harder and some tiers got easier. and I'm sure that's going to happen here with the revamp as well. The last time I tested it, it was like, I think it was T4 going into a T2 duo, which was okay, but a T4 going into a T1 solo was like super hard. And I haven't tested it since, so I don't know if they made adjustments. So that's probably something I'll get into with hopefully a future video before this goes up. But I think I'll cut this off for here. So everyone, keep your fingers crossed, and thanks for watching.